The scent of espresso and fresh basil hung in the air of La Stella d'Oro, mixing with the low murmur of Italian conversations and the gentle clink of wine glasses. I smoothed down my emerald dress for the 100th time, my palms damp with nervous anticipation. A blind date, my first in 3 years, set up by my well-meaning cousin who insisted I needed to get back out there after my catastrophic relationship with my ex. "He's perfect for you, Nora," she'd gushed. "A gentleman, financially stable, completely normal." Normal. The word felt foreign after spending the last 2 years working as a secretary for Nathan Cavalieri. A man who was anything but normal. A man whose mere presence could silence a room. A man who looked at me like I was simultaneously his salvation and his damnation. I shook my head, dismissing thoughts of my impossible boss. Tonight wasn't about Nathan. Tonight was about moving forward. About proving to myself that I could be interested in someone safe, someone uncomplicated, someone who didn't make my heart race with a dangerous mixture of fear and desire every time he walked into the office. "Nora?" A pleasant voice interrupted my thoughts. I looked up to find a man in his early 30s approaching. Sandy blonde hair neatly styled, warm brown eyes, a friendly smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes. He wore a respectable navy suit, carried himself with quiet confidence, and radiated an aura of comfortable normalcy that should have been exactly what I wanted. "David?" I stood, accepting his offered hand. "It's wonderful to finally meet you," he said, his handshake firm but not overwhelming. "Your cousin has told me so much about you." We settled into our seats, and I tried to focus on David as he talked about his work as an architect, his recent trip to Barcelona, his passion for sustainable building design. He was interesting, articulate, genuinely kind. Everything a rational woman should want. But I couldn't stop my gaze from drifting to the entrance every few minutes. Couldn't shake the inexplicable feeling that something was about to happen. David was mid-sentence about a project in Brooklyn when I felt it. That electric charge in the air that always preceded Nathan's arrival. The way conversations seemed to quiet fractionally. The way people shifted unconsciously, making space for a presence too large to ignore. My head turned toward the entrance as if pulled by an invisible thread. And there he was. Nathan Cavalieri stood in the doorway of La Stella d'Oro like he owned it, which, knowing Nathan, he probably did. 6 feet 3 inches of lean muscle and controlled danger, wrapped in a black suit that had definitely been tailored by someone who understood that clothing could be both armor and weapon. His dark hair was styled back from a face that could have been carved from Carrara marble, all sharp angles and cold perfection except for his eyes. Those eyes, deep brown, almost black in certain lights, capable of warmth that could melt steel or ice that could freeze blood. Right now, they were scanning the restaurant with the practiced efficiency of a man accustomed to assessing threats and opportunities in equal measure. Then they found me. I watched Nathan's expression shift through several emotions in rapid succession. Surprise, recognition, something that might have been pleasure, followed immediately by a darkness that made my breath catch. His gaze moved from me to David, then back to me, and I saw his jaw tighten almost imperceptibly. Oh no. "Nora?" David's voice pulled me back. "Are you all right? You look like you've seen a ghost." "I'm fine," I managed, my voice sounding distant to my own ears. "Just thought I saw someone I knew." But Nathan was already moving toward us, his stride purposeful, his expression settling into that mask of controlled civility that I'd learned meant he was absolutely furious about something. "Nora," he said when he reached our table, his voice that low rumble that I felt more than heard. "What a pleasant surprise." David looked between us, confusion evident on his friendly face. "Do you two know each other?" "Ms. Sullivan works for me," Nathan said before I could respond, his emphasis on works for me carrying undertones I really hoped David didn't catch. His eyes never left my face. "I had no idea you frequented La Stella d'Oro." I don't, usually, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. This is my first time here. Special occasion? The question was casual, but I heard the edge beneath it. Just dinner, I replied, deliberately not elaborating. Nathan's gaze finally shifted to David, and I saw my date actually lean back slightly under the intensity of that stare. And you are? David Morrison. David extended his hand, and I watched with a mixture of horror and fascination as Nathan took it, his grip just a fraction too firm, just a second too long. Cavalieri, Nathan replied. Nathan Cavalieri. I own several properties in the city, including this restaurant. Of course he did. Wonderful place, David said, admirably maintaining his composure despite the testosterone-laden atmosphere that had suddenly engulfed our table. The architecture is stunning. 1800s construction, if I'm not mistaken. 1872, Nathan confirmed, still watching me rather than David. It's been in my family for 4 generations. We're very protective of our legacy. The word protective seemed to carry additional weight, and I felt color rising to my cheeks. Nathan, I said firmly, meeting his eyes. We're in the middle of dinner. I can see that. His expression remained neutral, but I caught the flicker of something dangerous in his eyes. I wouldn't want to interrupt your evening. The pause before evening was deliberate, loaded with unspoken questions and accusations. Thank you, I said, my tone making it clear he should leave. Instead, Nathan pulled out the empty chair at our table and sat down. Actually, he said, signaling a waiter with a subtle gesture, I think I'll join you. It's been a long day, and I could use some company. David and I exchanged a glance of mutual bewilderment. Mr. Cavalieri, David began diplomatically. While we appreciate the gesture, Nora and I were actually on a date? Nathan interrupted, his voice deceptively pleasant. How modern. Tell me, Morrison, what are your intentions toward my secretary? Nathan, I hissed, mortification flooding through me. What? He turned those dark eyes on me, all innocence except for the predatory gleam lurking beneath. I'm simply looking out for your welfare, Nora. It's what any concerned employer would do. Most employers don't interrogate their secretaries' dates, I shot back. I'm not most employers. His smile was slow, dangerous. As you well know. The waiter appeared with a glass of what I knew was Nathan's preferred Barolo, which meant he'd definitely planned this interruption, rather than it being spontaneous. So, Morrison, Nathan continued, swirling the wine in his glass. What do you do? I'm an architect, David replied, and I had to give him credit for maintaining his composure. Residential and commercial design. Fascinating. Nathan's tone suggested it was anything but. And how did you meet Nora? Through her cousin, actually. A mutual friend. A blind date, then. Nathan's eyes flickered to me. How adventurous of you, Nora. I had no idea you were interested in exploring new options. The way he said new options made it sound vaguely pornographic, and I felt my face burning. It's just dinner, I said through gritted teeth. Of course it is. Nathan took a sip of his wine. Though I have to say, Morrison, you're very brave. Most men in this city know better than to pursue what belongs to no one, I interrupted sharply, earning surprised looks from both men. I belong to myself, Nathan. Not to you, not to the company, not to anyone. Something flashed in Nathan's eyes. Approval, perhaps, or challenge. My apologies, he said, though he didn't sound apologetic at all. You're absolutely right. You're entirely your own person, free to have dinner with whomever you choose. Thank you, I said stiffly. Even if he's completely wrong for you. David's eyebrows shot up. Excuse me? Nothing personal. Nathan assured him with a smile that was all teeth. I'm sure you're a fine architect, but Nora needs someone who can handle her particular brand of spirited independence. And you think you know what I need? I challenged. Nathan's gaze locked with mine, and for a moment, the restaurant seemed to fade away until there was nothing but those dark eyes and the promise, or threat, I saw within them. I know exactly what you need, cara mia, he said softly. The question is whether you're ready to admit it. The Italian endearment shouldn't have affected me. He'd never used one before, always maintaining strict professional boundaries in the office despite the tension that crackled between us. Hearing it now, in that low, intimate voice, sent a shiver down my spine that I desperately tried to hide. I think, David said, standing abruptly, I should probably excuse myself for a moment. Restroom. He fled, and I didn't blame him. The second we were alone, I leaned forward. What the hell are you doing, Nathan? Having dinner at my own restaurant, he replied innocently. You're sabotaging my date. Am I? He tilted his head, studying me. Or am I doing you a favor? David Morrison is a nice man, Nora. Safe, stable, boring as hell. Is that really what you want? Maybe boring is exactly what I need, I shot back. Maybe I'm tired of danger and complications and... Me? He finished. Are you tired of me, Nora? The question hung between us, loaded with everything we'd never said, everything that simmered beneath our professional relationship. This isn't about you, I said, but we both knew it was a lie. Isn't it? Nathan leaned closer, and I caught his scent. Expensive cologne with notes of bergamot, and something darker, more primal. You've been different lately, distracted, making excuses to leave early. And now I find you here, dressed in a color I've never seen you wear, with a man who couldn't handle you on your worst day. You don't know anything about David. I know he let me sit down at your table without protest. I know he ran at the first sign of conflict. I know he's not the kind of man who could deal with who you really are. And who am I really? I challenged. Nathan's smile was slow, predatory. Your fire pretending to be ice. Your passion wrapped in professional courtesy. You're mine, even if you won't admit it yet. My heart hammered against my ribs. I'm not yours, Nathan. I'm your employee, nothing more. Keep telling yourself that, Tesoro. His hand moved across the table, fingers brushing mine. But we both know the truth. I jerked my hand back as David returned, looking considerably less confident than when he'd left. You know what? David said, pulling out his wallet. I just remembered I have an early meeting tomorrow. Nora, this was lovely, but I should probably call it a night. David, wait. But he was already placing bills on the table, giving Nathan a wide berth as he offered me an apologetic smile. Your cousin has my number if you ever want to reschedule. Though between you and me, he glanced at Nathan. I'm not sure that's a good idea. He left, and I rounded on Nathan with fury in my eyes. Satisfied? I demanded. Nathan signaled the waiter. Actually, I'm starving. Since Morrison abandoned you, you might as well have dinner with me. I recommend the osso buco. It's spectacular. I'm not having dinner with you. Why not? You're already here, dressed beautifully, and judging by the fact that Morrison barely touched his appetizer, you haven't eaten yet. His eyes gleamed with challenge. Unless you're afraid. Afraid of what? Of admitting that you enjoyed watching me claim you in front of him. Of acknowledging that you wanted me to interrupt, that you've been waiting for me to cross this line. You're delusional. Am I? He leaned back, completely at ease. Then prove it. Have dinner with me. Just a meal between employer and employee. If you really feel nothing, if I really mean nothing to you, it shouldn't be a problem. It was a trap, and we both knew it. But I also knew that running would be admitting defeat, admitting that he was right about everything. Fine, I said, settling back into my chair with more confidence than I felt. One dinner, and then we never speak of this again. Nathan's smile was victorious. Whatever you say, cara mia. The waiter appeared, and Nathan ordered for both of us in rapid Italian that I could only partially follow. When the man hurried away, I fixed Nathan with my sternest look. This doesn't mean anything. Of course not, he agreed readily. Too readily. I'm serious, Nathan. Tomorrow we go back to normal. Professional boundaries. Absolutely. His eyes held mine, though I think we both know there's no going back after tonight. And damn him, I was afraid he was right. I spent Sunday convincing myself that Saturday night had been an aberration. A momentary lapse in judgment fueled by wine and Nathan's infuriating confidence. Come Monday morning, everything would return to normal. Professional, distant, safe. I should have known better. The first sign that nothing would be normal again came when I arrived at the office to find a massive bouquet of calla lilies on my desk. White and elegant, they were my favorite flower, a detail I'd mentioned exactly once, 6 months ago, in passing conversation about a wedding I'd attended. The card read simply, "Thank you for dinner, N." I was still staring at the flowers when Sophia, the receptionist, appeared in my doorway with barely contained excitement. "Oh my God, Nora, someone has a secret admirer. Are those from your date this weekend?" "They're from Mr. Cavalieri," I said flatly. "A thank you for working late last week." The lie came easily, but Sophia's knowing smile suggested she didn't believe me for a second. "Right. Working late. Is that what we're calling it now?" "We're not calling it anything because nothing happened," I insisted, moving the flowers to the credenza where they wouldn't be quite so prominently displayed. "Mr. Cavalieri is my boss, that's all. A boss who knows your favorite flowers and has them delivered first thing Monday morning." Sophia leaned against the doorframe. Sure, totally normal employer behavior. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed with an intercom call. "Ms. Sullivan, my office, please." Nathan's voice was perfectly professional, giving no indication that 48 hours ago, he'd sabotaged my date and then proceeded to have the most intense dinner conversation of my life. "Right away, Mr. Cavalieri," I replied with equal formality. Sophia waggled her eyebrows suggestively as I gathered my tablet and headed toward Nathan's corner office, my heels clicking against the marble floors with a rhythm that sounded far more confident than I felt. I knocked once and entered. Nathan sat behind his massive mahogany desk, surrounded by floor-to-ceiling windows that framed the Manhattan skyline. He looked devastating in a charcoal suit, his hair slightly damp as if he'd recently showered, and when he looked up at me, I saw the corner of his mouth lift in what might have been satisfaction. "Good morning, Nora." "Good morning, Mr. Cavalieri." I kept my voice neutral. "You wanted to see me?" "Close the door?" I hesitated for half a second before complying, very aware that closing the door would remove our last barrier of propriety. Nathan stood, moving around his desk with that predatory grace I'd come to recognize. He stopped a few feet away, close enough that I could smell his cologne, far enough that I couldn't accuse him of invading my personal space. "About Saturday night," he began. "Was completely inappropriate and won't happen again." I finished firmly. "I appreciate the flowers, but they're unnecessary, as is any discussion of what was clearly a misunderstanding." His eyes gleamed with amusement. "A misunderstanding?" "Yes. You thought I needed rescuing from a bad date. I didn't. The situation is resolved, and we can move forward professionally." "Is that what you think happened?" Nathan moved closer, and I forced myself not to retreat. "That I was rescuing you? Weren't you?" No, Tesoro. I was eliminating competition. The blunt admission stole my breath. There is no competition, I managed, because there's no prize to win. You're not a prize, Nora. You're much more valuable than that. His hand came up, and I froze as his fingers barely grazed my cheek. You're a necessity. Nathan. A sharp knock interrupted whatever I'd been about to say. Nathan stepped back smoothly, his expression shifting to professional neutrality so quickly I might have imagined the intimacy of moments before. Come in, he called. The door opened to reveal a man I'd never seen before. Late 50s, silver hair, expensive suit, and eyes that assessed me with the cold calculation of someone used to evaluating assets and liabilities. Zio Carmine, Nathan greeted him in Italian, his voice respectful but not warm. I wasn't expecting you today. Clearly, the older man replied in accented English, his gaze moving from Nathan to me and back again. Who is this? My secretary, Nora Sullivan. Nora, this is my uncle, Carmine Cavalieri. I extended my hand. Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Cavalieri. He took it briefly, his grip perfunctory. Irish? On my father's side, I confirmed, wondering why it mattered. He turned to Nathan, dismissing me entirely. We need to talk, privately. Ms. Sullivan was just leaving, Nathan said, and I heard the apology beneath his formal tone. Nora, please reschedule my 10 o'clock. I'll be unavailable for the next hour. I nodded and fled, grateful for the escape, but also intensely curious about what had brought Nathan's uncle here unannounced. Back at my desk, I tried to focus on work, but my attention kept drifting to Nathan's closed door and the raised voices I could occasionally hear despite the office's excellent soundproofing. Sophia appeared with coffee and gossip in equal measure. That's Carmine Cavalieri, she stage whispered, perching on the edge of my desk. Nathan's uncle and, from what I've heard, the family patriarch. He's only here when there's serious family business. How do you know all this? I've been with the company for 5 years, Nora. You learn things. She took a sip of her coffee. Word is, Carmine has been pushing Nathan to marry Isabella Romano, daughter of another prominent Italian family. Alliance building, you know. My stomach dropped. Marriage? Oh yeah. Apparently, it's been in the works for years, but Nathan keeps refusing. Says he'll marry when he's ready, not when the family decides. She gave me a meaningful look, though I'm starting to think he's been waiting for a reason to refuse permanently. Before I could process this information, Nathan's door burst open, and Carmine strode out, his face flushed with anger. You're making a mistake, Nipote, he called back to Nathan. A catastrophic one. The families expect... I don't care what the families expect. Nathan's voice was ice. I've built this empire. I'll run it my way. You're being led by your cazzo instead of your brain. Carmine switched to Italian, probably assuming I didn't understand. I did. Barely. And what I understood made my cheeks burn. Nathan appeared in his doorway, his expression thunderous. His eyes found mine across the room, and something in them made my breath catch. Possession mixed with challenge, as if daring me to acknowledge what his uncle had just accused him of. Ms. Sullivan, he said, his voice controlled despite the rage I could see simmering beneath. A word. I followed him back into his office, where he closed the door with barely restrained violence. I apologize for my uncle's behavior, he said stiffly. He has antiquated ideas about family obligations and appropriate marriage arrangements. Sophia said he wants you to marry someone, I ventured. Isabella Romano? Nathan's jaw tightened. My uncle wants a lot of things. That doesn't mean he gets them. But the families can go to hell. He moved to the window, his back to me. I won't marry for alliance, Nora. I won't bind myself to someone I don't love just to satisfy tradition. Love. The word hung in the air between us. Nathan, I said carefully, what does this have to do with me? He turned, and the intensity in his eyes nearly made me step back. Everything, he said simply. It has everything to do with you. My uncle saw us together just now. Saw how I looked at you, how you make me feel. And he recognized what I've been trying to deny for 2 years. My heart hammered. Which is? That I'm in love with you, Nora Sullivan. Completely, irrationally, catastrophically in love with you. And I will not marry Isabella Romano or any other woman the families choose, because the only woman I want is standing in front of me, looking terrified and beautiful and absolutely perfect. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, could only stare at him as the world tilted on its axis. You can't, I whispered. I work for you. I'm not Italian. I'm not part of your world. I'm not everything I want, he interrupted, closing the distance between us. You're everything I want, Tesoro. Everything I need. And I know you feel it too. This pull between us. This inevitability. Nathan, this is crazy. Then let's be crazy together. His hands framed my face with devastating gentleness. Say yes, Nora. Not to marriage, not yet, but to us. To seeing where this goes. To letting me court you properly instead of sabotaging your dates and sending flowers with inadequate cards. Court me? I couldn't help the laugh that escaped. Who even says that anymore? I do. His thumb traced my lower lip. I'll court you the old way, Tesoro, with patience and persistence and absolute devotion until you can't imagine your life without me in it. What if the answer is still no? His smile was slow, confident. It won't be. You're stubborn, but so am I. And I have one significant advantage. Which is? You're already halfway in love with me, too. You just don't want to admit it yet. He was right, damn him. And we both knew it. This is a terrible idea, I said, but my hands had somehow found their way to his chest, fingers curling into the fabric of his shirt. The best ones usually are. He leaned down, his lips a breath away from mine. Say yes, cara mia. Let me show you how good terrible ideas can be. One dinner, I heard myself say. A real date. No sabotage, no games, no interruptions. Whatever you want. His smile was triumphant. And we keep it secret from the office. I'm not ready for everyone to know. For now, he agreed. But eventually, Nora, I'm going to tell the whole world that you're mine. Before I could respond, his phone rang. He ignored it. Nathan, you should let it ring. His forehead pressed against mine. For once, business can wait. This is more important. Your uncle can shout at me later. He pulled back slightly, his eyes searching mine. Right now, all that matters is hearing you say yes one more time. Yes, I whispered, sealing my fate. But if this blows up in our faces, I'm blaming you. Fair enough. He pressed a kiss to my forehead. I should warn you, though. I play for keeps, Nora. Once you're mine, I don't let go. I'm not yours yet. His smile was predatory, promising. Yet. The intercom buzzed urgently. Mr. Cavalieri, your 10 o'clock is here early, and your uncle is waiting in the lobby demanding to speak with you again. Nathan sighed, reluctantly releasing me. Welcome to my world, Tesoro, where even confessing my love gets interrupted by business obligations. Probably for the best, I said, smoothing my skirt and trying to look professional despite my racing heart. Gives me time to panic appropriately about what I just agreed to. Don't panic too much. He caught my hand as I moved toward the door. I meant every word, Nora. I love you, and I'm going to prove it every single day until you believe it. As I fled his office, my mind reeling, I couldn't decide if I'd just made the best decision of my life or the worst. Knowing Nathan Cavalieri, it would probably be both. The real date Nathan had promised happened Friday night at a restaurant so exclusive it didn't even have a sign. Antonio's, he'd called it, owned by a friend of the family who understood the value of discretion. I wore a midnight blue dress that I'd spent an embarrassing amount of money on, telling myself it had nothing to do with wanting to see that dark heat in Nathan's eyes when he looked at me. The lie was thin, but I clung to it anyway. Nathan picked me up himself. No driver, no bodyguards, just him in a black suit that should have been illegal, holding open the door of a sleek Mercedes that probably cost more than my annual salary. "You look stunning," he said, his voice dropping an octave as his eyes traveled over me. "You clean up okay yourself," I replied, aiming for casual and missing by a mile. The drive to Antonio's was quiet, charged with anticipation and unspoken questions. Nathan's hand rested on my knee, his thumb drawing absent patterns that sent heat spiraling through me. "Nervous?" he asked. "Terrified," I admitted. "This is a really bad idea, Nathan. Your uncle, the families, my job, are all problems I'll handle." His hand squeezed gently. "Tonight, I just want you to relax and let me show you that we're worth fighting for." Antonio's turned out to be a small, intimate space with maybe 10 tables, each positioned to maximize privacy. Soft Italian music played, candles flickered, and the scent of garlic and wine created an atmosphere that was both romantic and slightly dangerous. An older man with a face like weathered leather greeted Nathan with a bear hug and rapid Italian that had them both laughing. When Nathan introduced me, Antonio kissed both my cheeks and declared me bellissima before leading us to a corner table with a view of the kitchen. "He likes you," Nathan observed once we were seated. "Antonio is notoriously difficult to impress. I didn't do anything. You exist. You're here with me. That's enough for him to approve." Nathan's hand found mine across the table. He's known me since I was 15, watched me grow into this life. He's never seen me bring a woman here before. Never? Never. His thumb traced my knuckles. "This place is sacred to me, Nora. It's where my nonno used to bring me, where he taught me about honor and family, and the difference between power and respect. Bringing you here means something." The weight of that statement settled over me. "Nathan, I need to understand something. Your uncle, these families, what exactly are we dealing with here?" He was quiet for a moment, studying me. "How much do you really want to know?" "All of it. If we're doing this, I need the truth." Nathan signaled a waiter, who appeared with wine and then vanished like smoke. After taking a long sip, Nathan began to speak. "My great-grandfather came to New York in 1921, with nothing but the clothes on his back and a willingness to do whatever necessary to survive. He built a network of businesses, some legal, some less so. By the time my grandfather took over, the Cavalieri family was one of the most powerful in the city. And now? Now I'm working to legitimize everything. The construction companies, the restaurants, the real estate holdings, all clean. But the old families, my uncle included, don't want change. They see my modernization as betrayal of tradition." "And Isabella Romano?" Pain flickered across his face. "A bargaining chip. Her family controls significant territory in Brooklyn. A marriage alliance would strengthen both families, eliminate potential conflicts, ensure continued cooperation." "You make it sound like a business merger." "That's exactly what it is." His hand tightened on mine. "And it's exactly why I've refused for 3 years. I won't marry for strategy, Nora. I've seen what those marriages become. Arrangements of convenience that breed resentment and infidelity. I want more than that." You want love, I said softly. I want you. The simplicity of the statement took my breath away. Everything else is negotiable. But your uncle. My uncle answers to the council, and the council answers to power. If I show them that you're an asset rather than a liability, if I prove that choosing you strengthens rather than weakens my position, they'll accept it. How? Nathan's smile was cold, calculating. By making you indispensable, by positioning you as my partner, not just in my personal life but in business. By demonstrating that your intelligence and discretion make you more valuable than any political marriage could be. You want to use me to outmaneuver your uncle, I said slowly. I want to protect what's mine. His voice hardened. Make no mistake, Nora. They'll come after you. They'll investigate your background, test your loyalty, look for weaknesses they can exploit. But I'll be there every step of the way, shielding you from the worst while you prove them wrong. This is insane. Welcome to my world. He brought my hand to his lips. Still want to run? I should have said yes. Should have grabbed my bag and fled before I got in any deeper. But looking into Nathan's eyes, seeing the vulnerability beneath his confidence, I found myself asking instead, what if I fail? What if they won't accept me no matter what I do? Then I'll burn it all down. The words were said with such casual certainty that I believed him completely. The businesses, the alliances, the legacy, none of it means anything without you. Don't say that. Why not? It's true. He leaned forward. I've spent my entire life building what my grandfather started, maintaining what my father failed to protect. But these past 2 years, watching you walk into my office every morning, watching you handle my chaos with grace and efficiency, watching you slowly become the center of my entire world, I've realized something. What? That all the power and money and respect mean nothing if I'm alone at the end of the day. I want you, Nora. Want to come home to you, wake up beside you, build something real with you. And I'll fight anyone, including my own family, to make that happen. Tears pricked my eyes. You barely know me. I know you take your coffee black with 1 sugar. I know you reorganize my files when you're stressed. I know you have a scar on your left ankle from a childhood bicycle accident, and that you're allergic to shellfish even though you tell people you just don't like it. I know you read romance novels on your lunch break and pretend they're business journals. I know you're stubborn and brilliant, and kind, and exactly what I need. How do you know all that? His smile was sheepish. I pay attention. Have been for 2 years, trying to convince myself I could keep it professional, keep my distance. Saturday night, seeing you with Morrison destroyed that delusion completely. So, you sabotaged my date. I eliminated competition, he corrected. There's a difference. Is there? Yes. Sabotage implies I played dirty. I simply accelerated the inevitable conclusion. I couldn't help it. I laughed. You're absolutely ridiculous. I'm absolutely yours. He stood, offering his hand. Dance with me, cara mia. Let me hold you while I still can, before the food arrives, and we have to pretend to be civilized again. The small space between tables hardly qualified as a dance floor, but Nathan didn't seem to care. He pulled me close, one hand at the small of my back, the other cradling my hand against his chest. We swayed to the soft Italian music, and I let myself sink into the moment. The warmth of his body, the strength in his arms, the way he looked at me like I was something precious. My parents died when I was 16, Nathan said suddenly, his voice low. Car accident. One moment they were there, the next they were gone. And I was thrust into a world I didn't understand. My uncle became my guardian, started grooming me to take over the family business. I didn't get a childhood, Nora. Didn't get to make mistakes or fall in love or be reckless. Everything was calculated, controlled, strategic. Nathan. You're the first unplanned thing in my life since I was 16 years old. The first time I've wanted something just because I want it, not because it serves some larger purpose. You make me feel like maybe there's more to life than duty and legacy. Like maybe I could be happy. I pulled back enough to see his face. I don't know if I can be what you need. You already are. His hand cupped my cheek. You're everything to sorrow. You just don't see it yet. The music shifted to something slower, more intimate, and Nathan pulled me even closer. I could feel his heart beating against mine, could smell his cologne mixed with something uniquely him. This close, I could see the faint scar along his jaw, the exact shade of brown in his eyes, the way his lips curved when he looked at me. I'm falling for you, I admitted in a whisper. It terrifies me. I know. I'm terrified too. His forehead pressed against mine. But I'd rather be terrified with you than safe without you. That's not how it's supposed to work. Nothing about us is how it's supposed to work, but it works anyway. He was right. Despite every logical reason why this was a disaster waiting to happen, despite the danger and complications and impossible obstacles, being with Nathan felt right in a way nothing else ever had. One condition, I said. Anything. You have to promise me that if it becomes too dangerous, if your world threatens me or any future we might have, you'll let me go. You'll choose safety over stubbornness. His jaw tightened. Nora. Promise me, Nathan. Or this ends right now. We stared at each other, wills clashing, until finally he nodded once sharply. I promise, though I also promise to do everything in my power to ensure it never comes to that. Good enough. He kissed me then, soft and sweet and full of promise. When we broke apart, Antonio was standing nearby with an indulgent smile and plates of food that smelled divine. L'amour, the old man said, shaking his head fondly. It makes fools of us all. The best kind of fools, Nathan agreed, never taking his eyes off me. As we sat down to eat, Nathan's phone buzzed repeatedly. He ignored it until I finally said, You should check that. Could be important. He glanced at the screen and his expression darkened. It's my uncle. Again. Answer it. Not tonight. Tonight is about us. Nathan, tomorrow. His voice was firm. Tomorrow I'll deal with Carmine and the families and all the complications. Tonight, let me just be a man having dinner with the woman he loves. The woman he loves. The words settled over me like a blanket, warm and terrifying in equal measure. Okay, I agreed softly. Tomorrow we face reality. Tonight we just are. His smile was brilliant. I love you, Nora Sullivan. I know, I replied. I'm starting to believe you might be crazy enough to mean it. I am. Completely. Utterly, irrationally crazy about you. Good, I said, surprising myself, because I think I might be crazy about you too. The joy on his face was worth every complication that would surely follow. Monday morning arrived with a crisis. I was barely through the door when Sophia grabbed my arm, her face pale. Nathan's been in his office since 5 a.m. with Marco and 3 other men I've never seen before. Something's wrong, Nora. Really wrong. My stomach dropped. Did something happen? I don't know, but there's security all over the building, and Nathan left strict instructions that you're to go directly to his office the moment you arrive. I hurried down the hallway, my heels clicking urgently. 2 men in dark suits flanked Nathan's door, definitely not our usual security. They nodded as I approached, one of them speaking into a radio before opening the door for me. Nathan stood at his window, his back rigid with tension. Marco, his head of security, looked grim. The 3 other men studied me with calculating eyes as I entered. Nora. Nathan turned, and I saw fury barely contained beneath his professional mask. "Thank you for coming in early." Sophia said it was urgent. "It is." He crossed to me, his hand finding the small of my back in a gesture that was both comforting and possessive. "We had an incident last night. Someone tried to access your apartment." The floor tilted. "What?" "Your neighbor, Mrs. Chen, called the police when she heard someone trying to break in. They were gone by the time officers arrived, but the intent was clear." Nathan's voice was ice. "Someone is sending a message." "Your uncle," I breathed. "We don't know that yet," Marco interjected. "Could be the Romanos. Could be someone trying to exploit perceived weakness. Could be someone threatening what's mine," Nathan finished coldly. "Which means we need to take immediate precautions." One of the unknown men stepped forward. "Ms. Sullivan, I'm Vincent Caruso, Mr. Cavalieri's personal security consultant. We need to ask you some questions about your daily routine. Anyone who might have shown unusual interest in you, any threats you've received." "I don't understand. Why would anyone target me?" "Because of me," Nathan said bluntly. "Because our relationship is now known within certain circles, and some people see that as an opportunity or a weakness to exploit." The reality of what I'd gotten into crashed over me. This wasn't just about family drama or arranged marriages. This was actual danger, the kind that involved break-ins and bodyguards and security consultations. "I can't do this," I said, panic rising. "Nathan, this is too much. I'm just a secretary. I'm not equipped for—" "You're not just anything." Nathan's hands framed my face, forcing me to look at him. "And you're not doing this alone. I'm going to protect you, Nora, but I need you to trust me." "How?" "First, you're moving. Today. Your apartment isn't secure, and I won't risk you staying there another night." "Moving where?" "My penthouse." Before I could protest, he continued. "You'll have your own room, your own space. This is about security, not—" He glanced at the other men. "Anything else. Marco will arrange the move. Pack what you need now, and movers will handle the rest." "You can't just decide where I live. I can when your safety is at stake." His voice softened. "Please, Tesoro, let me do this. Let me keep you safe." The fear in his eyes, real fear for me, made my protest die. "How long?" "Until we identify the threat and eliminate it." His jaw tightened. "However long that takes." Vincent cleared his throat. "Mr. Cavalieri, perhaps we should discuss the other measures." Nathan nodded, his hands dropping from my face, though he kept me close. "Starting today, Nora will have personal security. Discreet, professional, but constant. No arguments," he added when I opened my mouth. "Additionally, your movements will be monitored, not to restrict you, but to ensure you're never vulnerable." "You want to track me?" I said flatly. "I want to know where you are so I can protect you," he corrected. "There's a difference." "Is there?" I pulled away from him, because it sounds like I'm trading my apartment for a gilded cage. "It's temporary." "You don't know that." My voice rose despite the audience. "You said yourself you don't even know who's behind this. How long am I supposed to live like a prisoner?" "Like someone precious who needs protection," Nathan corrected, his own frustration showing. "Damn it, Nora. Someone tried to break into your home. They could have been waiting for you. Could have hurt you. Could have—" He stopped, visibly controlling himself. "I can't lose you, not when I just found you." The rawness in his voice diffused my anger. I looked at the other men, all carefully studying the walls or their phones, giving us the illusion of privacy. "Can we have a moment?" I asked. Marco nodded. "We'll be right outside." Once the door closed, I turned to Nathan. "I'm scared." "I know." He pulled me into his arms and I let myself sink into his strength. I'm scared too. Terrified that I've put you in danger just by loving you. Maybe we should stop. Maybe if we end this, they'll leave me alone. His arms tightened. They won't. You're already a target because of what I feel for you. Ending it now won't change that. It'll only mean you face the danger alone instead of with my full protection. He was right, and I hated it. I don't want to move into your penthouse. I know. I don't want bodyguards following me everywhere. I know. I don't want any of this. I know, Tesoro. I'm sorry. So damn sorry. His lips pressed against my hair. But I need you safe more than I need you happy with me right now. Once this is over, you can yell at me, hate me, make me sleep on the couch for a year. But please, let me protect you first. I pulled back to look at him. The couch in my own room or yours? Surprise flickered across his face. What? You said I could make you sleep on the couch. I need to know which apartment we're fighting in. A slow smile spread across his face. Are you saying yes? I'm saying I'll move into your penthouse temporarily, under duress, while maintaining my own separate bedroom and expecting you to respect that boundary. I poked his chest. I'm also saying that this doesn't mean we're living together. This is protective custody, not cohabitation. Absolutely. Whatever you need to tell yourself. His smile was pure male satisfaction. I'm serious, Nathan. So am I. He kissed my forehead. Thank you for trusting me. I don't trust you. I'm just terrified of the alternative. Fair enough. He called the others back in. Ms. Sullivan has agreed to enhanced security measures. Marco, coordinate the move for this afternoon. Vincent, I want a full security assessment of the penthouse and updated protocols by tonight. Nora will have 24/7 protection, rotating shifts, unmarked vehicles. The men nodded, already making notes and calls. One more thing, Nathan added. I want Isabella Romano brought in for questioning. Everyone froze. Boss, Marco said carefully. That could start a war with her family. Someone broke into Nora's apartment the same day my uncle pushed me to marry Isabella. I don't believe in coincidences. Nathan's voice was deadly calm. Bring her in, politely, but bring her in. After the meeting dispersed, Nathan kept me in his office. I need to be honest with you about something. My stomach nodded. What? My uncle called last night. He's convening the council, all the family heads, for a formal meeting this Friday. He's going to force a vote on my marriage to Isabella. Can he do that? He can call the meeting. Whether they'll vote against me. Nathan shrugged. Depends on how persuasive he is, how much support Isabella's family has bought. What happens if they vote for the marriage? Then I'll have a choice to make. His eyes met mine, obey the council and maintain family unity, or defy them and risk everything I've built. Nathan, you can't give up your legacy for me. It's not a legacy if I have to sacrifice you to keep it. He pulled me close. I won't marry her, Nora. Council vote or no vote. You need to know that. But your family. You're my family now. His hand cupped my cheek. Or you will be, if you'll have me. I know this is fast and crazy, but Nora, I don't want to waste another moment. I want you beside me, officially, undeniably mine. Are you asking what I think you're asking? Not yet. He smiled. When I ask you to marry me, it'll be properly. Ring, romance, the whole production. But I need you to know that's where this is heading. That's what I want. Even if it costs you everything? You are everything. He kissed me softly. The rest is just noise. A knock interrupted us. Sophia poked her head in, her expression caught between amusement and exasperation. Sorry to interrupt, but there's a woman downstairs demanding to see both of you. Says her name is Isabella Romano and that she's Nathan's fiancée. Nathan and I exchanged glances. "This should be interesting," I muttered. "That's one word for it." Nathan's smile was predatory. "Send her up, Sophia. And Nora, stay close. I want her to see exactly who you are to me." "Is that wise?" "Wisdom is overrated." He laced his fingers through mine. "Besides, she needs to understand that no matter what my uncle promised, no matter what the families expect, the only woman I'm marrying is standing right here." Isabella Romano swept into Nathan's office like she owned it, all elegant fury in a cream Chanel suit and Louboutin heels. She was beautiful, classically so, with dark hair, olive skin, and the kind of bone structure that suggested generations of good breeding. She took one look at me standing beside Nathan, our hands linked, and her perfectly painted lips thinned. "So it's true," she said, her accent pure New York Italian. "The rumors about you and the Irish secretary." "Nora Sullivan." I introduced myself, refusing to be intimidated. "I don't believe we've met." "No, we haven't. Because you're nobody." Isabella's smile was sharp. "While I'm the woman Nathan's going to marry, whether he likes it or not." "I think you'll find—" Nathan began, but Isabella cut him off. "Oh, I know all about your little rebellion, Nathan. Your uncle has been very forthcoming about your stubbornness. But here's the thing about family obligations. They don't care about your feelings or your secretary's aspirations." "Careful." Nathan's voice went cold. "You're speaking about the woman I love." "Love," Isabella laughed. "How adorably naive. This isn't about love, Caro. It's about power, alliance, and the fact that our marriage has been arranged since we were children. Your infatuation with her," she gestured dismissively at me, "is irrelevant." "My infatuation," Nathan said, pulling me closer, "is the only thing that's relevant. I've told your father, I've told my uncle, and now I'm telling you. I will not marry you, Isabella. Not now, not ever. We'll see what the council says Friday." Her confidence was maddening. "Your uncle has been very persuasive. Most families see the value in our union." "Let me be clear about something." Nathan's voice dropped to that dangerous register I'd learned to recognize. "I don't care what the council says. I don't care what traditions dictate. The only woman I'm marrying is Nora Sullivan, and anyone who has a problem with that can take it up with me directly." Isabella's eyes narrowed. "You'd start a war over her?" "I'd burn the whole world down for her." He said it so simply, so certainly, that even Isabella seemed taken aback. "Now, was there a reason you're here beyond stating the obvious about Friday's meeting?" "Actually, yes." Isabella's gaze shifted to me, calculation replacing anger. "I wanted to warn Ms. Sullivan about what she's getting into. You see, Nathan's world isn't kind to outsiders. The families will test you, break you, destroy you if you show weakness. And you," she looked me up and down, "reek of weakness." "Is that a threat?" I asked, finding my voice. "It's a promise." Isabella smiled. "You have no idea what you've walked into, little secretary. But you'll learn soon enough." "Get out," Nathan said flatly, "before I have security remove you." Isabella gathered her purse with deliberate slowness. "See you Friday, Nathan. I expect you'll come to your senses by then." "Don't count on it." After she left, I sank into a chair, my legs suddenly weak. That was terrifying, enlightening, a glimpse into the world you're joining. Nathan knelt beside me. "I'm sorry, Nora. She's right about one thing. This world will test you, but I'll be beside you every step of the way. What if I'm not strong enough?" "You are." His hand covered mine. "You stood up to her, didn't back down, showed her exactly what you're made of. That's my fierce, stubborn, perfect Nora." "You're Nora," I echoed. That sounds right? He smiled. Because it is. You're mine, Tesoro. And I'm yours. Now let's go move you into your gilded cage so I can properly spoil you while keeping you safe. This is insane. I know. But it's our insanity. Might as well embrace it. As we left his office, hand in hand, I couldn't shake Isabella's words. The families would test me, break me if they could. But with Nathan beside me, I was starting to believe I might just survive. Living in Nathan's penthouse was like existing in a 5-star hotel designed specifically to drive me insane. The space was stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows, minimalist Italian design, a kitchen I was afraid to touch, and a guest bedroom that was larger than my entire former apartment. Nathan had been true to his word about respecting my boundaries, though that didn't stop him from finding excuses to be near me constantly. "I'm making espresso," he'd announce, appearing in the kitchen where I was attempting breakfast. "Would you like some?" Or, "I was thinking of watching a movie. Join me?" Or, my personal favorite, "I can't find my cufflinks. Have you seen them?" Delivered while standing in my doorway in nothing but suit pants and an unbuttoned dress shirt that should have been illegal. Thursday night, less than 24 hours before the council meeting, I found him in his study, surrounded by papers and looking more stressed than I'd ever seen him. "Talk to me," I said, setting down the coffee I'd brought. He looked up, surprise flickering across his face. "You should be asleep." "So should you. It's midnight." I perched on the edge of his desk. "What's all this?" "Financial reports. Documentation of our legitimate holdings. Proof that my leadership has been profitable for all the families, not just the Cavalieris." He rubbed his eyes. "I'm building a case for why the council should respect my choice in a wife. You're treating it like a business presentation. Because that's what it is." He leaned back, studying me. "These men respond to power, profit, and proof. I need to show them that emotional decisions can still be strategic ones. And how do you plan to do that?" Nathan's smile was tired but genuine. "By showing them you." I blinked. "Excuse me? You're coming to the council meeting tomorrow." "Nathan, no. That's a terrible idea. It's the only idea." He stood, moving around the desk to stand before me. "These men need to see you, understand who you are, recognize that you're not some frivolous distraction, but a woman worthy of being a Cavaliere." "I'm not a Cavaliere. Not yet." His hands framed my face. "But you will be, Nora. Tomorrow I'm going to stand in front of the most powerful families in New York and tell them I choose you. That I will always choose you, regardless of their vote. That's career suicide. It's called love." He kissed my forehead. "And it's terrifying and stupid and the best decision I've ever made. What if they vote against us? Then we'll deal with it. Together." His thumb traced my lower lip. "Unless you've changed your mind? Unless you don't want—" I silenced him with a kiss, pouring everything I felt into it. Fear and hope and a love I was finally ready to admit. When we broke apart, both breathing hard, Nathan's eyes had darkened with desire. "Nora," he said, his voice strained. "You're making it very difficult to respect your boundaries. Maybe I don't want you to respect them anymore." The admission escaped before I could stop it. His pupils dilated. "Don't say that unless you mean it." "I mean it." My hands fisted in his shirt. "I'm terrified of tomorrow, Nathan. Terrified of what those men might decide, what it might cost you, what it might mean for us. And I don't want to wait anymore. I don't want to wonder what it would be like. I want—" He kissed me again, harder this time, with 2 years of restrained desire finally unleashed. His hand slid into my hair, tilting my head for better access as he deepened the kiss. I melted against him. every nerve ending sparking to life. "Are you sure?" he asked against my lips. "Because once I start, Tesoro, I won't stop. I won't be gentle, and I won't hold back." "I don't want you to hold back." I looked up at him. "I want all of you, Nathan. Everything you've been keeping locked away." Something fierce and possessive flashed in his eyes. Then he was lifting me, my legs wrapping around his waist as he carried me not to my room but to his. The master bedroom was pure Nathan, dark woods, expensive linens, and a bed that could easily fit 4 people. He set me down on the edge of it, his hands already working the buttons of my pajama top. "Tell me to stop," he demanded. "Tell me to stop and I will. Tell me you want to wait until after tomorrow, after the council gives their blessing, and I'll walk away right now." "Don't stop," I whispered. "Don't you dare stop." His smile was pure masculine satisfaction. Thank God, because I don't think I could. What followed was acclaiming in the truest sense. Nathan worshipped every inch of me with his hands and mouth, learning what made me gasp and shiver and beg. When we finally came together, it felt like completion, like 2 pieces of a puzzle clicking into place. Afterward, we lay tangled in his sheets, my head on his chest as his fingers traced lazy patterns on my shoulder. "I love you," he said into the darkness, in case there was any doubt. "I love you too." The words felt natural now, true. Even though you're impossible and controlling and absolutely infuriating. I prefer to think of myself as devoted and protective. "Controlling," I insisted. "Devoted," he corrected, kissing the top of my head. "To you. Only you." "What happens tomorrow?" "Tomorrow, I introduce you to the council as my future wife. They'll vote on whether to support the match or insist on Isabella Romano. And if they choose Isabella, then I'll defy them." His arm tightened around me. "I'll walk away from everything, Nora. The businesses, the position, the power, all of it. None of it means anything without you. You can't do that." "I can and I will." His voice was firm. "I've spent my entire life building an empire, maintaining my grandfather's legacy. But what's the point of all that power if I can't choose who I share it with? If I can't have the one thing I actually want?" "Nathan, no." He shifted so he could look at me. "I need you to understand this, Tesoro. You are my choice. You are what I want. Everything else is negotiable." Tears pricked my eyes. That's the most romantic and terrifying thing anyone has ever said to me. "Get used to it." His smile was tender. "I plan to spend the rest of our lives being romantically terrifying." "Is that what we're doing? Spending the rest of our lives together?" "If you'll have me." He cupped my face. "I know I should wait, should do this properly. But Nora Sullivan, will you—" I pressed my fingers against his lips. "Not tonight. Ask me tomorrow, after the council meeting, when we know what we're facing." "You think the answer will be different then?" "No." I smiled. "But I want you to ask when we're not in the middle of a crisis, when you're not making impossible promises to sacrifice everything. I want you to ask when we can both say yes with clear heads and full hearts." His eyes shone with emotion. "You're so damn smart. One of us has to be." I kissed him softly. "Now tell me everything about tomorrow. What should I expect?" Nathan spent the next hour explaining the council structure, the family dynamics, who would likely support us and who would oppose. His Uncle Carmine was the wild card, influential enough to sway votes but unpredictable in his loyalties. "He wants what's best for the family," Nathan explained. "The question is whether he sees you as an asset or a liability. What do you think?" "I think he'll surprise us." Nathan's smile was cryptic. "My uncle is traditional, but he's not stupid. He knows forcing me to marry someone I don't love will only breed resentment and instability. The question is whether his desire for tradition outweighs his strategic thinking. No pressure, then. None whatsoever. He kissed me again. Just be yourself tomorrow, Tesoro. Show them the woman I see. Intelligent, strong, capable of standing beside me as an equal. And if that's not enough, then we'll face whatever comes next together. His arms wrapped around me, pulling me close. I promise you, Nora, no matter what happens tomorrow, you and I will be okay. We'll find a way. I wanted to believe him, needed to believe him. But as I drifted off to sleep in his arms, I couldn't shake the feeling that tomorrow would change everything, one way or another. The council meeting was held in a private room at Moretti's, the restaurant Nathan's grandfather had opened in 1955. Walking through the doors felt like stepping back in time. Dark wood paneling, leather booths, the scent of cigars, and old money. Nathan kept my hand firmly in his as we entered, a united front against whatever came next. The council consisted of 7 men, all heads of their respective families. Carmine Cavalieri presided, flanked by Giuseppe Romano, Isabella's father, Anthony Martelli, Vincent Lombardi, Peter Bianchi, Angelo Gallo, and Michael Rossini. They all stood as we entered, their expressions ranging from curious to hostile. "Nathan," Carmine greeted, "and this must be Ms. Sullivan." "Nora, please," I said, managing to keep my voice steady. "Sit." Carmine gestured to 2 chairs facing the semicircle of powerful men. "We have much to discuss." Nathan guided me into a chair before taking his own, his hand never leaving mine. "Gentlemen," he began, his voice strong and clear, "I've called you here today to address the rumors and clarify my intentions. Yes, I am in a relationship with Nora Sullivan. Yes, I intend to marry her. And no, I will not be entering into an arranged marriage with Isabella Romano, regardless of family expectations or traditional obligations." Giuseppe Romano's face darkened. "You would dishonor the agreement made between our families?" "There was no agreement," Nathan replied calmly. "There were suggestions, hopes, assumptions. But I never agreed to marry your daughter, Giuseppe. I've been clear about that for 3 years." "You shame her," Giuseppe stood, his voice rising. "You shame our family by choosing this Irish girl over a proper Italian wife." "Sit down, Giuseppe." Carmine's voice cracked like a whip. "We'll conduct this meeting with civility." Reluctantly, Giuseppe sat, though his glare could have melted steel. Carmine turned to me. "Ms. Sullivan, you understand what you're asking my nephew to give up?" "I haven't asked him to give up anything," I replied, finding my voice. "Nathan made his choice. I simply accepted it." "And what do you bring to this union?" Vincent Lombardi asked. "What value do you add to the Cavalieri family?" Nathan stiffened beside me, but I squeezed his hand, silently asking him to let me answer. "I bring loyalty," I said clearly. "I bring discretion. I bring 2 years of managing Nathan's affairs, of understanding his business, of being trusted with information that could destroy him if I chose to use it. I bring intelligence and dedication, and a love that isn't based on political alliances or financial gain." "Pretty words," Anthony Martelli observed. "But love doesn't strengthen families. Alliances do." "Does it?" I challenged. "Because from where I'm sitting, forcing Nathan into a loveless marriage would breed resentment and instability. It would make him vulnerable in ways that no political alliance could offset." Silence fell. Several of the men exchanged glances. "She has a point," Peter Bianchi said slowly. "A man who resents his wife is a man easily manipulated." "And a man who loves his wife?" I continued, gaining confidence. "That's a man fighting to protect what matters most. That's loyalty that can't be bought or negotiated away." Carmine studied me with new interest. "You're smarter than you look, girl." "Thank you." I wasn't sure if it was a compliment. "My nephew has chosen well. Carmine's gaze shifted to Nathan, though perhaps not wisely. Sometimes the best choices aren't the wisest ones, Nathan replied, but they're the right ones anyway. The council deliberated for what felt like hours, voices raised and lowered, arguments in Italian too rapid for me to follow. Nathan translated quietly, keeping me informed of each point and counterpoint. Finally, Carmine called for a vote. All in favor of supporting Nathan Cavalieri's choice of bride? 4 hands raised. Carmine, Peter Bianchi, Angelo Gallo, and surprisingly, Vincent Lombardi. Opposed? 3 hands, Giuseppe Romano, Anthony Martelli, and Michael Rossini. 4-3, we'd won. Giuseppe stood, his face mottled with rage. This is a mistake. You're all fools. The council has spoken, Carmine interrupted. You'll respect their decision, Giuseppe. I won't forget this. Giuseppe glared at Nathan. Your betrayal of my daughter was no betrayal, since I never agreed to marry her. Nathan finished calmly. But I appreciate your concern for Isabella. I'm sure she'll find a more suitable match. After the meeting dispersed, Nathan pulled me into a private alcove and kissed me breathless. We did it, he whispered against my lips. They accepted you. Accepted us. 4-3 isn't exactly overwhelming support. It's enough. He pulled back to look at me. Nora Sullivan, you just faced down the most powerful men in New York and earned their respect. Do you have any idea how incredible you are? I'm still terrified. Good. Terror keeps you sharp. He kissed me again. Now, about that question I wanted to ask earlier. Nathan, marry me. The words rushed out. I know I said I'd wait, do it properly, but I can't. Not after watching you command that room, seeing you stand beside me as my equal. Marry me, Nora. Please. You're supposed to have a ring for this, I said, tears streaming down my face. I do. He pulled a velvet box from his pocket. I've been carrying it for a week, waiting for the right moment. Is this the right moment? Inside was the most beautiful ring I'd ever seen. An emerald-cut diamond surrounded by smaller stones. Elegant and understated and absolutely perfect. Yes, I whispered. Yes, I'll marry you. His smile could have lit up the city. Say it again. Yes, Nathan Cavalieri. I'll marry your impossible, controlling, absolutely infuriating self. I love you so damn much. I love you too. As he slid the ring onto my finger, I realized that Isabella had been right about one thing. I had no idea what I was getting into. But with Nathan beside me, I was ready to find out. 3 months later, I stood in a private room at St. Anthony's Cathedral, staring at myself in a full-length mirror and wondering if I was dreaming. The dress was a work of art, Italian lace with a fitted bodice and a skirt that flowed like water. My dark hair was swept up in an elegant chignon, adorned with tiny diamonds that caught the light with every movement. I looked like someone who belonged in Nathan's world. I looked like a bride. Breathe, Sophia commanded, adjusting my veil. You look perfect. Nathan's going to lose his mind when he sees you. If we make it to the ceremony, I muttered. The past 3 months had been a whirlwind. Nathan had insisted on a short engagement, claiming he'd waited long enough. The wedding planning had been equal parts magical and terrifying, with every decision scrutinized by families on both sides. Isabella Romano had been surprisingly gracious about the whole thing, or so it seemed on the surface. She'd sent a wedding gift, attended the engagement party with a smile, played the perfect picture of a woman who'd moved on. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was coming. A knock at the door interrupted my thoughts. One of Nathan's security team poked his head in. Ms. Sullivan, there's a woman here to see you. Says it's urgent. Who? Isabella Romano. Sophia and I exchanged glances. "Let her in," I said, squaring my shoulders. "But stay close." Isabella entered in a stunning cream suit, her makeup flawless, her smile sharp. "Nora, you look beautiful." "Thank you." I kept my voice neutral. "What can I do for you, Isabella?" "I wanted to give you something before the ceremony." She held out a small envelope. "Consider it a wedding gift." I took it warily, opening it to find photographs. My stomach dropped as I looked through them. Images of Nathan with various women over the years, some in compromising positions, others showing him entering hotels and apartments at late hours. "What is this?" I asked, my voice tight. "Insurance," Isabella replied sweetly. "In case you need reminding of who you're marrying. Nathan Cavalieri isn't the faithful type, Nora. These were all taken in the past 5 years. Every mistress, every affair, every moment of weakness." "Get out," I said quietly. "I'm just trying to help." "You're trying to hurt me." I moved closer to her. "You're trying to make me doubt him, doubt us, right before I walk down that aisle. But here's the thing. Isabella, I know exactly who I'm marrying. I know about his past, his mistakes, his flaws. And I'm marrying him anyway because I love him. Because what we have is real, regardless of what came before." "You're naive, I'm certain." I held her gaze. "Which is something you'll never understand. Now get out of my dressing room before I have security remove you." Isabella's facade cracked, real anger showing through. "You'll regret this. Marrying into this world, thinking love will be enough. It won't be. You'll end up broken and bitter, wondering why you ever thought you could belong." "Maybe," I agreed. "But I'd rather risk heartbreak with Nathan than settle for safety without him. Now, get out." She left, and I slumped into a chair, the photographs clutched in my shaking hands. "Nora," Sophia knelt beside me. "Are you okay? Do you want me to get Nathan?" "No." I stood, tearing the photos in half. This is exactly what she wanted. To make me panic, to plant doubts. I won't give her that satisfaction. But those pictures are from before me. I threw them in the trash. Whatever Nathan did before we were together isn't my business. What matters is who he is now, who he's choosing to be with me. Sophia hugged me tightly. "You're absolutely sure about this?" I thought about the past 3 months. The late nights when Nathan would hold me during thunderstorms, knowing I was afraid of lightning. The mornings I'd wake to find him already awake, watching me sleep with such tenderness it made my heart ache. The way he'd rearranged his entire schedule around my niece's school play because family is important. The thoughtfulness, the devotion, the absolute certainty that I was his choice. "I've never been more sure of anything," I said. The ceremony was perfection. St. Anthony's was filled with flowers, white roses and peonies, my favorites. Every pew was packed with faces both familiar and foreign, families who'd come to witness the union that had defied tradition. But I barely saw any of them. Because standing at the altar, looking devastating in a black tuxedo with his eyes fixed on the doorway, was Nathan. And the moment our gazes locked, nothing else mattered. Carmine Cavalieri walked me down the aisle, a surprising honor that had made the old man emotional. "My nephew chose well," he'd told me that morning. "You're exactly what this family needs." Nathan's eyes never left my face as I approached. When I finally reached him, he took my hands and whispered, "You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." "You're not so bad yourself," I whispered back. The ceremony was traditional, Father Michael presiding with prayers in Latin and English. When it came time for vows, Nathan spoke first. "Nora Sullivan, I stand before God and these witnesses to make you a promise. I promise to love you through every storm, to choose you every single day, to build a life with you that honors both your strength and your softness. I promise to be faithful, devoted, and ridiculously, possessively in love with you for the rest of our lives. You are my choice, my heart, my home, today and always. Tears streamed down my face as I spoke my own vows. Nathan Cavalieri, I stand before God and these witnesses to make you a promise. I promise to love you despite your controlling tendencies and your absolutely infuriating confidence. I promise to challenge you, support you, and stand beside you as your equal. I promise to be faithful, honest, and stubbornly, completely in love with you for the rest of our lives. You are my choice, my heart, my home, today and always. Father Michael pronounced us husband and wife, and Nathan kissed me like he was claiming me for all the world to see, which I supposed he was. The reception was held at Moretti's, transformed into a fairy tale with candlelight and flowers and music that made even the most stoic family members smile. We danced our first dance to a song Nathan had chosen, an Italian love song his grandfather had danced to at his own wedding. Happy? Nathan murmured as we swayed. Terrified, I admitted. But yes, so happy it scares me. Good. He pulled me closer. I plan to keep you this happy and terrified for the next 60 years. Only 60? I'm being conservative. Don't want to overpromise. I laughed, and he kissed me again, soft and sweet, and full of promise. Later, as we made our rounds greeting guests, Nathan pulled me into a quiet alcove. I heard about Isabella's visit, he said without preamble. From who? Sophia. She told my security team who told me. His hands cupped my face. Nora, whatever she showed you. Doesn't matter, I interrupted. Your past is your past, Nathan. I'm marrying your present and your future. The rest is noise. You didn't even ask what the photos showed. I don't need to. I smiled. I trust you. Is that so hard to believe? After years of everyone questioning my motives, doubting my word, yes. It's nearly impossible to believe. He kissed my forehead. Thank you for choosing to trust me anyway. Thank you for giving me reasons to. The rest of the reception passed in a blur of toasts and dancing and laughter. Giuseppe Romano maintained a polite distance, though I caught him watching us with an expression I couldn't quite read. Isabella had left immediately after the ceremony, her gift rejected and her attempt at sabotage failed. As the night wore on, Nathan led me to a quiet balcony overlooking the city. I have something for you, he said, pulling out a small box. Nathan, you already gave me this. I held up my ring hand. Different kind of gift. He opened the box to reveal a key on a delicate chain. To my heart. Metaphorically and literally. It's the key to the safe where I keep everything important. Legal documents, financial records, family history. Everything you need to truly be my partner in all of this. You're giving me access to everything? You're my wife now, Tesoro. That means you're entitled to know everything, control everything. We're in this together. No secrets, no barriers. The trust implicit in the gesture overwhelmed me. Nathan, I love you, he said simply. Completely and without reservation. You have my heart, my name, my future. This, he held up the key, is just making it official. I let him fasten the chain around my neck, the key settling over my heart. I love you too, I whispered. So much it terrifies me. Good. His smile was pure mischief. Because I plan to terrify you every single day for the rest of our lives. Promise? Absolutely. As he kissed me under the stars, the city sprawling below us and our future stretching ahead, I marveled at how far we'd come. From boss and secretary, to enemies, to lovers, to husband and wife. It hadn't been easy. It had been messy and complicated and absolutely insane. But it had been worth it. Every terrifying, wonderful moment. 6 months later, I stood in Nathan's office, our office now, reviewing quarterly reports when he walked in with an expression I'd learned to recognize. "What did you do?" I asked without looking up. "Why do you assume I did something?" "Because you have that look. The I made an executive decision without consulting you look." He laughed, moving around the desk to pull me into his arms. "I may have bought you something." "Nathan, we talked about this. You can't keep buying me things. It's a house." I blinked. "You bought me a house?" "Bought us a house." He pulled out his phone, showing me pictures of a stunning Victorian in Connecticut. 3 bedrooms, big backyard, perfect for kids someday. I know the penthouse is great, but I thought maybe we could use a weekend place. Somewhere quiet, away from all this. "Kids?" I focused on the one word that mattered. His smile was tender. "Someday, when you're ready. Unless you don't want." I kissed him, pouring everything I felt into it. When we broke apart, both breathing hard, I whispered, "I want everything with you, Nathan Cavalieri. Kids, houses, 60 years of terrifying happiness." "Just 60? Being conservative." He laughed, spinning me around in a circle. "I love you, Mrs. Cavalieri." "I love you too, Mr. Cavalieri." "Even though I bought a house without asking?" "Especially because of that." I smiled. "It means you're planning a future. Our future." "Always," he promised. "From the moment you walked into my life, you became my future, tesoro." And as he kissed me again, I knew with absolute certainty that this impossible, complicated, absolutely insane love was the best thing that had ever happened to me. Isabella Romano had been right about one thing. I hadn't known what I was getting into, but I'd figured it out along the way, and I wouldn't change a single